knows, we've been working on the renovation of the planning for the 3 sites, Tropical Middle School, our elementary school, Rosamond Elementary School, and the high school. And during this time, we started with Tropical Middle School as our first site to renovate. What we're going to present tonight is the actual site plan that we would entertain the board to look at, and then in a future board meeting action to approve. So I thought we'd get started in letting everybody know exactly how we got to where we are on the actual site plan and what the process was to get us there, so that everybody knows, really how inclusive and everybody that was involved. Obviously, our site plan and the ability to renovate these sites and the driving force behind it is our Board of Education, who helps us, get to the point where gives us the leadership in order to make these sites, part of our future. What we do is we report directly to a project board committee with Mr. Gutierrez and Ms. Kirk, and I'm the actual in charge of the actual plan itself, as well as developing the project in and through construction and actual occupancy. In order to make it as inclusive as possible, we hired Stephen Redmond, who is the project manager from the Company of Seville. His job is to make sure that the project meets all time deadlines and that we stay within our budget. He is our third-party oversight, so that everybody is doing what they're supposed to do. But above and beyond all that, we decided that we were going to create site committees. So at every single site that we are going to do the renovation and do the improvements on, we actually have committees that meet once every 2 weeks for a couple of hours and actually discuss what we need to do and how we need to renovate those sites and what those sites actually need. And then all that information is passed down to our architects from Dwelling and Moody, and the head of those architects are Scott Gardenier and Matt Buchanan. If you're familiar with Tropico, we know we have the administration, the cafeteria, and some classrooms right here. We have our food services building right here, which will be staying, as well as one line of classrooms right here. And you'll notice that if you've been to Tropico, there is another duplicate type building that normally sits right here in the center. We will be demolishing that building and getting rid of that building. Also, currently, if you've been to Tropico, obviously, we have a number of portable units, which is basically portable buildings that we dropped in as the growth of Tropico happened. All the portables will be removed. These are permanent buildings being built here for the site. Each of these classrooms, right now, if you're familiar with Tropico again, right here we normally have our basketball courts, and right underneath that, right here, we have a field that is currently being used for PE and other recess for our students. We will be adding 24 classrooms, sets of 8 classrooms here in our first phase. We will keep all the existing buildings at the time. We will be moving our existing classrooms into those buildings when it's completed. After that has been completed, we will be going into phase 2. Phase 2 is the demolish of the buildings as well as all the portables, and we will be building a library, a state-of-the-art library, close to 6,000 square feet. Most libraries at middle schools are somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 square feet. We've decided to double that size so that we could have things like computer labs, study groups in there, access for the public, and also have conference rooms as well as individual study rooms for our students. In addition, we will be building another 8 classrooms down here, as well as 4 additional classrooms. These classrooms will be specialty classrooms, science labs, art labs. Hopefully we'll have robotics by that time. We're working on bringing robotics to Tropico currently right now, and these are the classrooms that we expect here. All of our classrooms will be very flexible. We envision classrooms that are obviously have hot spots in each of these buildings. The classrooms themselves will be designed to be flexible, where we'll be able to take flexible walls away to double the size of classrooms and have co-teaching. We also will have in the center somewhere around a 12-foot storage area where we'll have workstations for not only students, individual workstations that can be assigned, but we will also have storage and teacher workstations in each of the buildings. As you can see, it's been designed so that we have expanded our center of our quadding through to Tropico This area will still be open for students' activities as well as having seating, and then the library will be the focal point here. Additional things that we'll be doing, we'll be building shade structures. As you can see, these are just examples. Obviously, we want to build a lot more shade structures for our weather. And we'll actually have areas here such for outdoor classrooms, so that when we deal in agriculture and things in sciences, they can actually take the classroom outside in an outside type amphitheater and conduct those classrooms outside. As you can see, we've centered all the classrooms together. And as you know, we have a lot of open land around Tropico, so what we decided to do was to add to our extracurricular activities so that we can expand our athletics and also our fields. What we're planning on doing is being able to close off after school hours, close off the actual Tropico school, and have everything else here available to the public for public use after hours of schools as well as on the weekends. So we're entertaining putting in a soccer field, a couple of baseball/softball fields, a football field down here, and we're also, in addition, we're changing exactly how the buses come in for drop-off, and we're adding additional parking that would be mostly used for community events and after-school projects. So what we've done is we've tried to not only take care of our students, looking at the idea that if you can envision in elementary school, it's very, very clear that we group our students based on classrooms, kindergarten and first grade together, and based in more age groups. When you get to the high school and the college levels, you're really talking about subjects. Math and science buildings are together. English literature is together. Well, we're at Tropico, and even though we're trying to bring our students towards that type of high school type atmosphere where we have things like science classrooms and things like that, we also have to keep in, again, reminding that there is a huge difference between a person entering 6th grade and a person in 8th grade in their maturity levels and their socialization. So we envision that we'll actually have quads and centers for each level of grades and keeping them together at the same time being able to expand their horizons by having core competencies of art and robotics and sciences in specialty classes that all grades will be able to use. Obviously, there'll be a little bit of difference in maybe an 8th grade science class and a 6th grade science class, but that's something that they'll all be able to use.
Well, Mr. Starkey, Southern Kern is faced with a new challenge.
Yes, it is. Definitely is. Unfortunately, our superintendent, or maybe even fortunately, we've got to move this district still forward. Our superintendent has left to another district, basically with the state of California, with Tom Torkelson. But hey, you know what? We grew him up and we bred him here, and he's moved on.
And you feel the new choice of superintendent?
As right now, we've put Jeff in charge. Actually, he's the number 2 man anyhow, so it's not like we did anything that but right now, he's going to be running the district, as he would be if Mr. Taylor was on vacation or whatever. I mean, he's the next one to line up anyhow.
Sure. And how long before a contract is really signed?
Well, we are in contract negotiations with him right now.
Okay.
Hopefully by the 17th, we can conclude that contract and get him acting as I stated here tonight.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your comments.
Thank you very much.
Okay.